Six Flags Great America is one of the largest amusement parks in the Midwest. This is the premier park in the Chicago metro area and one of the best Six Flags parks. Great America seems to have more investment than the other parks in the Six Flags chain, which is why it now sports one of the most underrated coaster lineups in the country. Find out everything you need to know about this Six Flags park in this review. Marriott opened two amusement parks named Great America in 1976. One was in Santa Clara, California, and another was in Gurnee, Illinois. The two parks were built in parallel. Both parks had similar lands. Just look at how both parks had identical entrance plazas with a double-decker carousel and a crystal clear pool. Both parks also had similar attractions such as the Wizard and Demon. By the mid-1980s, Marriott wanted to sell their theme park division. The California park was purchased by the city of Santa Clara in 1984, and today it's owned by Cedar Fair. The Illinois park was purchased by Six Flags for $114.5 million. Not only did this deal give Six Flags one of their biggest parks in a densely populated market, but it also gave the chain the rights to the Looney Tunes characters that are a big part of all their parks today. Six Flags Great America is the usual advertising and DC Comics and intellectual properties, but the overall appearance and aesthetic of the park is a cut above their average Six Flags park. Each land has its own distinct architecture, with the Southwest Territory being the standout area in my opinion. I love the Western vibe there. This park also seems to have better operations. The security lines to get into the park move swiftly, even though a few people chuckle at the amnesty box as you walk in. Rides routinely run at their highest capacities, running their maximum number of vehicles. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, a few rides even had single rider lines to maximize their throughputs. Dispatch speeds are average to good for most rides, with the Crew on Raging Bull being the standout. They would often dispatch trains so quickly they'd have to sit around waiting for another to get back. That's a good thing because Six Flags Great America is one of the highest attended regional parks in the United States and the third highest attended park in the Six Flags chain. This park always seems to be busy. Definitely avoid summer Saturdays and Fright Fest if possible, but crowds are heavy most summer days. Major rides routinely have hour-long waits. I think you can experience most major coasters in a day, but you may need 2 days if you want to ride all 15 roller coasters and get multiple re-rides in them. To maximize your day, arrive at the park at least a half hour before opening. You either want to rope drop Max Force or Superman Ultimate Flight. Whichever one you do not do first will likely have a line by the time you get off the first ride. These are two of the park's most popular and lowest capacity coasters. They are also both by the main entrance, so they're both swamped open until close. I prefer to start with Max Force if you see it testing, because it's more prone to downtime and also cannot operate in the rain. Also, if you have the membership Skip the Line passes, Max Force had only 100 available daily in 2021, so that often run out quickly. It's also worth noting that the line at the Flash Pass building at the park is usually pretty long, at least for the first half of the day. Keep that in mind if you need to pick something up there. I recommend heading counterclockwise at this point towards Goliath. That's another ride that gets lengthy queue lines, but its location towards the back of the park makes it a short wait for the first 2 hours. I would hit any coaster along the way that has a short wait. Wizard, Dark Knight, Joker, and Batman are 4 that you'll pass that can get super busy. I would also hit the water rides early if they're of interest to you, and they're open. If you can reach American Eagle, X-Flight, and Justice League within 2 hours of opening, they should still have reasonable waits. This should allow you to tackle a good chunk of this park's coaster lineup before the heaviest of crowds arrive. Another option is to purchase the Flash Pass Skip the Line service, especially if it's a busy day, you're pressed for time, or if it's your first visit. It is pricey, ranging from $70 to $185 depending on the day and level. I think Gold or mid-tier Flash Pass is the best balance between price and benefits, but one key thing to keep in mind is that their newest roller coaster in Max Force is only available once on the highest level Platinum Flash Pass. Speaking of prices, this park can either be one of the costliest or best values depending which ticket you choose. Whatever you do, do not buy your ticket at the gate. It can cost upwards of $90 there. Single-day tickets online range from $35 to $50, which is a much better value. Alternatively, you can purchase a season pass, which is the best deal, especially because it includes parking, which saves you $25 to $30 per visit. It also is the cheapest way to visit both the Dry Park and the Hurricane Harbor Water Park, because they're now separately ticketed gates. Hurricane Harbor was included with admission to Great America until the 2021 season. Considering how big this water park is, it features over 2 dozen slides. It's understandable why Six Flags made it a separate ticket. It certainly is enough to keep people busy for a day. There is a deep collection of tube slides here. The most unique of the bunch is Tsunami Surge, which is the tallest water coaster in the world. There are a few nice drops, particularly the triple down at the end, but it doesn't hold its speed well. I go into more detail in a separate review, but this is towards the middle of the pack for water coasters. Beyond the tube slides and usual offerings, you also have Dive Bomber, which is an intense drop pod body slide. Moving on to the rides in the Dry Park, you have a deep and well-rounded lineup. The roller coaster collection is undoubtedly the park's calling card. While this park doesn't have a truly world-class coaster, Great America has a lot of decent to great coasters. There really isn't a bad adult coaster at this park. My personal favorite here is Max Force, the extreme launch coaster from S&S. That compressed air launch is the best launch in North America, as I mentioned in a separate review. You accelerate from 0 to 78 miles per hour or 126 kilometers per hour in less than 2 seconds. It feels like you instantaneously teleport down the launch track. The ride is super short, lasting just over 20 seconds, but it's not a one-trick pony, as there are 5 fun inversions. 4 of them have awesome hang time, and then the high-speed Heartline roll offers wild laterals. Goliath seems to be the most popular coaster among enthusiasts, and it's just behind Max Force for me. This Rocky Mountain Construction topper track wood coaster was a record breaker, opening with the tallest drop and fastest speed of any wood coaster. This is another short ride, but it packs a punch. The first drop in Camelback delivers strong ejector airtime. Then you also have a memorable dive loop through the supports, and an incredible stall that delivers upside down airtime. This may be the worst RMC solely due to length, but it's still very enjoyable and fast paced, as I talk about in its own review. There are a few other wood coasters too. American Eagle is one of the most iconic, as it runs along the back border of the park. This giant Intamin creation no longer races, and it has awkward pacing, particularly on that large and slow helix. But it does have a few surprising airtime hills, and it's not too rough. Just note this ride has one of the longest and most convoluted queue lines of any attraction. It is a hike to reach the station. Viper was a Coney Island Cyclone clone built by Six Flags themselves. This ride doesn't have the powerful airtime of the original, but it still pops you out of your seat a few times while offering some decent laterals and a smooth ride experience. Raging Bull is probably the crowd favorite. One of the earliest Bolliger and Mabillard hypercoasters, Raging Bull needs to be experienced in the back. The ride is disappointing elsewhere because the layout focuses more on turns than Camelbacks, but there are several drops with good floater airtime if you're in that back row, which I mentioned in my review. And this wasn't the first time that Great America was one of the first buyers for a new model from B&M. Great America was previously home to the first ever B&M and Iron Wolf, which was a stand-up coaster, that now operates as Six Flags America as a floorless coaster named Firebird. Great America also received the first ever B&M inverted coaster in Batman the Ride. This ride has since been cloned countless times, and it's not hard to see why. This compact layout features 5 forceful and snappy inversions, while still being immaculately smooth even after 3 decades of operation. Superman Ultimate Flight was one of the first B&M flyers. This one is mostly about graceful turns and visuals, but the pretzel loop towards the start is one of the most intense elements on any coaster. The crushing positive G's it delivers is eye-popping. X-Flight was the second B&M wing coaster in America. This ride features forceful valleys, floaty inversions, and some memorable near misses. I think this is one of the more underrated wing coasters out there because it features an action-packed layout start to finish. These B&Ms take some of the shine away from Demon, the park's classic arrow looper. It's not as smooth, but it has a solid first drop, 2 forceful vertical loops, some nice rock work around the corkscrews, and a sick theme song. Most notably, this ride also has a super low 42-inch height requirement, meaning kids can make this one of their first looping coasters. The park has several more conventional family coasters too. Dark Knight is an indoor mock wild mouse coaster. The ride itself is minimally braked, giving good laterals, and the light Batman theming adds some fun visuals along the way. Whizzer is a super rare Schwarzkopf speed racer. This ride has shallow drops, but some fast and moderately forceful turns, plus a great setting in the woods. Then this park doesn't have a true kiddie coaster. Instead, there are 2 junior coasters that can comfortably fit both kids and adults. Little Dipper is a historic wood coaster relocated from the nearby Kiddieland. Then Sprocket Rockets is an off-the-shelf Vekoma roller skater. The most interesting thing with the latter is that there's actually a sign in the queue line stating you may leave the line for the bathroom break and return to your spot in line. Most parks would just send you to the very back of the queue line if you do that. The DC Universe area is home to 2 of the park's final coasters in Vertical Velocity and Joker. The latter is an SNS free spin that usually offers 3 to 4 flips per ride. And then Vertical Velocity is a punchy intimate impulse coaster with some decent launches and weightlessness on the spikes. The park also has lots of flat rides, including some rare spinning ones from Huss like a Condor and the Fiddler's Fling Calypso. They usually have short waits, which is a refreshing change of pace from the coasters. The only true standout flat in the thrill department is Giant Drop. This second generation Intamin drop tower offers a fast and floaty drop with 0 warning. Plus, this ride has some underrated theming with the audio at the top and the cave themed queue line. I wouldn't be surprised if this park gets a Giga Discovery or a Sky Screamer in the next few years. These are 2 supersized flats oddly missing from the Six Flags park. There also is the Skytrek Tower Observation Tower that offers 360-degree views from the park from nearly 300 feet or 91 meters in the air. I think this park could use investment in their kids areas. They have a small collection of kiddie rides in Hometown Square, plus 2 dedicated areas in Camp Cartoon and Kidsopolis. The latter looks pretty good with the bright colors, but Camp Cartoon really looks dated and could use a refresh. I wonder if this park will eventually receive the Looney Tunes kids areas you see at pretty much every other Six Flags park. For water rides, you have 2 flumes with large drops at the end and a soaking final splash due to the water jets that are directed into your face. Then Roaring Rapids is a secluded river rapids ride, but it did not operate this past season. Lastly, you have a single dark ride in Justice League Battle for Metropolis. This 3D shooting dark ride is a delightful contrast to the thrill rides. I love the use of the DC heroes and villains. The screen-based targets are plentiful and easy to hit, making this a fun experience. Now, I've only visited during the summer months, but the park also has some seasonal events. Fright Fest is the Halloween event, but I've never found the haunts particularly strong at the other Six Flags parks, and this always seems to be one of the busiest times of the year. Although this park does transform their teacup ride in a terror twister with lights and music. They also offered Holiday in the Park in the past, but this event may have been scaled back or cancelled altogether following the pandemic. It really is a shame because this park seemed really aggressive running attractions in frigid conditions. I saw videos of them running Raging Bull in the snow. Moving on to the food offerings, it's on par with the other Six Flags parks. It's the usual mix of chicken tenders, burgers, pizza and snacks with no true standouts. Food lines did seem to move a bit faster than usual though. If you don't have a meal plan, I strongly recommend getting a Lou Malnati's deep dish pizza outside the park. That's my favorite pizza anywhere. So do I recommend Six Flags Great America? Absolutely. This is an upper echelon Six Flags park. This park has a deep and well-rounded ride lineup, and this park always seems to get a new coaster every few years. I do wish this park had a true standout coaster though, but the quantity and quality of the lineup more than compensates. This park also has better looks and operations than other parks in the chain. The biggest downside with this park are the crowds it attracts, which is a byproduct of how good the product is. People understandably want to visit this place. So those are my thoughts on Six Flags Great America, the best park in the Chicago metro area. What are your thoughts on this park? Do you agree Great America is a strong coaster lineup? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.